What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. With the Xbox Series X and the PS5 releasing in a few days, I want to give my thoughts on both of these consoles and which one I would buy or recommend to others. Keep in mind that I don't favor any of these brands. The only console I currently own is an Xbox 360 I rarely turn on, so I'm going to make this video as non-biased as I possibly can. And please don't attack anyone in the comments section for having an opinion, since everyone is entitled to one. With that out of the way, let's get into the first topic, which is the hardware. Both of these consoles are very powerful compared to their last gen counterparts. Both support 4K gaming with optional 120 FPS support for certain games and ray tracing for certain games. Keep in mind that this doesn't mean that all games will have these features, and almost none of them will have all three of these features working simultaneously. It just means that these features will be available to use on these consoles if the game allows it. If you look at the specs of each console, the Series X is the better console. The problem with comparing these consoles based on specs is that at the end of the day, almost all third-party titles will run the same on both consoles. We've seen this in the past where one console is said to be the more powerful one, yet when the game releases on the consoles, it's almost hard to tell which console is the better one when comparing them side by side. Looking back at the previous console generations, the PS4 and the Xbox One, I can't remember a single game that ran blatantly better on one console over the other. If there is one, let me know down in the comments, but games like Call of Duty, Overwatch, Fortnite, Apex Legends, those games ran identically on both consoles. We're also seeing this come into fruition with both new and updated games coming to the next-gen consoles, with games like Call of Duty Cold War and Rainbow Six with 4K modes and 120 FPS modes for both consoles. If history repeats itself, these consoles are going to be almost one-on-one with each other when it comes to performance. But I think the main selling point is going to be the next topic, which is the games available for the consoles. This one is very controversial since everyone looks for something different when it comes to buying games. Obviously, there will be plenty of games available on both consoles, but there are still a few differences when it comes to the games they play. Let's start with PlayStation's side of the argument. PlayStation recently announced that backwards compatibility will be a thing, which means you could play old games from previous generations on the new consoles. The PS5 will only be able to play PS4 games when it comes to backwards compatibility, which is good enough for most people, but it still kind of sucks that you have to have a physical PS3 or PS2 or even an original PlayStation in order to play older games. But the real selling point for some gamers might be the exclusives that will be available for the PS5. If you're not aware of how exclusivity works, some games will have this label that may say PlayStation exclusive or only on Xbox, which means that you can only play that game on the platform it is on for the time being. Some games that are confirmed to be exclusive on the PS5 when they launch include God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and the PS4 games that were exclusive to that console before, such as the Uncharted series. However, there are rumors going around that these will be timed exclusives and will be coming to the PC at a later date. These are just rumors. I don't actually know if or when these games are coming to other platforms, but I know for a fact that the games I mentioned before will be exclusive when they first release on the PS5. The PS5 also has VR support, but it's very limited compared to the PC. It's there for those that want to try it out, but if you're going to go VR, I recommend getting a PC for it, since the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 is very limited when it comes to VR compared to the PC. Now onto Xbox's side of the argument. Actually, before I get into that, I need to clarify something. I've seen a lot of tweets out there saying that Xbox has no games and that the console is completely pointless. This simply isn't true. Xbox has as many, if not more, than the PlayStation 5 will have at launch. And here's why. Xbox also has backward compatibility, but this time it's available for all generations of Xbox instead of just the Xbox One. Which means if you have an Xbox 360 or you have some Xbox 360 games and even some classic Xbox games laying around waiting to be used again, the Series X will probably be able to play these. I say probably because not every old generation Xbox 360 or classic Xbox game works on it, so you have to go on Xbox's website to find out which ones work and which ones don't work. But if it's some big name product like Call of Duty or Halo, it'll probably work, so don't worry about it too much. As far as exclusives go, there technically are exclusives. I know a lot of people say there aren't, but it works differently on Xbox. Xbox recently announced that all of the games made by Microsoft will be available to play on PC with Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Play Anywhere. So technically you don't need an Xbox to play these games, but you still need some kind of device that can play Microsoft games, and PlayStation is not one of those devices, which means that a handful of games will still be isolated from the PlayStation console. Some of these titles include Halo Infinite, Crossfire X, Hellblade 2, Forza Motorsport, and a Fable reboot in development, along with older titles that were exclusive in the older consoles. Keep in mind that not all of these games will be available on the Series X when it launches, so you might have to wait a bit longer for certain games to be playable. Xbox also has Game Pass, which is a subscription service like Netflix that allows players to download and play hundreds of games as soon as the game launches or later on when the developers approve their game for the service. It's currently known as one of the best deals you could get for a large number of video games. I personally can't tell you how good it is since I'm not subscribed to it, but I hear a lot of positives about it, so keep that in mind. VR support is rumored to be coming to the Series X at a later date with the HoloLens. I don't know how much of that is true, but even if VR is added later on, I wouldn't recommend the Series X just for VR games since I would imagine it would be very limited compared to what the PC offers. So which console should you buy this holiday season? Well, it depends. Let me make this simple for those still having a hard time deciding. If you or the person you're buying this console for already owns a PS4, buy them a PS5. If you or they already own an Xbox One, buy them a Series X. The decision gets harder for those that have never touched a console before. If that's the case, here's a comparison of what these consoles offer. In a nutshell, if you're looking for exclusivity and maybe some VR support, the PlayStation is the way to go. If you're looking for a large variety of games to play with, this Series X is the way to go. If you're looking for the superior way to play video games, none of these will do since these are very similar consoles. If you want that, you gotta go to PC. I know I said I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible, but that's the honest truth. These are both similar consoles and the best way to play video games is on the PC. I hope this video was very informative and helped make a decision for what console you're going to buy this season. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment your thoughts down in the comments below, subscribe for more content, and I will talk to you all later.